Kevin Costner is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and that's one of the new summer movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. We'll also have a special interview with Spike Lee, who explains why he always seems to be stirring up trouble. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune, and our first film is the eagerly awaited Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and I was deeply disappointed in this picture, which I thought was badly acted, written, and directed, and I don't think it looked good either. Kevin Costner, sometimes using a bad English accent, sometimes speaking in his normal voice, plays Robin Hood as another goody-goody character, and that act is getting tiresome from Costner. Here Robin meets Friar Tuck.
Oh, kindly let me pass, sir.
Surely the Lord has the charity to spare a few barrels for good Christian men. Yes? We have much to celebrate.
Well, if you wish to share in the good Lord's brew,
you knew that fall was coming. The love of Robin's life is the maid Marian, played by Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, who's got the ringlets for the part, but seems much too contemporary otherwise. Robin wants her to warn her cousin, King Richard, of the evil Sheriff of Nottingham's plan to seize the throne.
If the sheriff found out, I could lose all that I have.
It's true. But will you do it for your king?
No. I'll do it for you.
Alan Rickman, the exciting villain in Die Hard, plays the villain here too, the Sheriff of Nottingham, out to kill Robin, the wealthy young nobleman now fighting for the people. As the film progresses, Rickman's character becomes more and more campy, cracking wise, out of sync with the other characters.
Robin Hood steals money from my pocket, forcing me to hurt the public. And they love him for it?
Yes.
That's it. Cancel the kitchen scraps for lepers and orphans. No more merciful beheadings. And call off Christmas.
The film's major addition to the Robin Hood legend is the presence of Morgan Freeman as Robin's Moorish comrade in arms.
if you would be free men, then you must fight. Join us now. Join Robin Hood.
The only time the film works at all, I think, is during its concluding action scenes, like this outrageous bit, reminiscent of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, with Robin and his buddy flying to rescue Marion. Well, save for that scene and a sword fight and a few exciting shots with arrows, I was completely turned off by Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. The dialogue seems arch. Director Kevin Reynolds has an annoying habit of shooting everything tight, so there is little grandeur in the film. It also is a dark-looking film. The sheriff's wisecracks also continue, even during his attempts to rape Maid Marian. I thought that was in particularly bad taste. I didn't find any chemistry between Costner and Mastrantonio. If you want a better Robin Hood story on film, I'd suggest running the film called Robin and Marian, which starred Sean Connery and Audrey Hepburn as an older Robin and Marian. That film has real style.
So does The Adventures of Robin Hood
Yes.
with Errol Flynn. This movie was a dismal, murky disappointment for me.
Yep.
It is a very dark film, not only in its look, you can't even sometimes even distinguish one character from another, but in its whole feeling. The magic and the lightness of the Robin Hood legend is completely lost here. It really depresses me to think that a lot of children will go to see this movie, and
Yes.
they're going to see decapitations, they're going to see amputations, they're going to see people burned alive, they're going to see that particularly distasteful rape scene of Maid Marian with the camera on the floor for the point of view of the Sheriff of Nottingham spreading her legs
Yes.
apart. That doesn't belong in any movie named Robin Hood. You're going to find Kevin Costner as a very flat, listless
Yes.
Robin Hood without any charisma at all, and you're going to find Alan Rickman seeming like he's from an entirely different movie, yet at the same time, every time Rickman appeared on the screen, at least I was grateful because I expected to be entertained,
yes.
which wasn't the case with the rest of the film.
We are duplicating each other on this, and yet it's worth saying a second time because it is such a disappointment. And I did think about children too. I mean, they're the natural audience for this picture, and they're going to see stuff that I don't think they're going to get. They're not going to understand why anyone would care about Robin Hood in the first place.
What have we come to when the legend of Robin Hood has to be modernized into a movie that just drips with sex and violence and perversion and this dark, negative image? What has happened to the magic?
It's gone.
It sure is. Okay, our next movie is at the opposite end of the scale from a big-budget film like Robin Hood. It's called Straight Outta Brooklyn, and it's the story of a black kid from the projects who stands at a turning point in his life. The story about this movie is as dramatic as anything in the screenplay because Straight Outta Brooklyn was written, produced, and directed by a young man named Matty Rich, who was 17 when he started and is only 19 now and didn't come from a family that had the kind of money to finance some bright teenager making a movie. The film opens with a morning after. A young brother and sister look at the damage in their apartment where their father has gotten drunk once again and abused their mother and torn up the place. And for this teenage boy, played by Lawrence Gilliard Jr., desperate measures seem to be called for.
You know, I sit in my room every night of the weekend. Sometimes I just want to go out there and I want to kill him. I want to kill him!
Don't say that, then.
My father! But I'm going to change this.
What we realize in scenes like this one, though, is that these are basically just kids. The character in the blue jacket here is played by the movie's director, Matty Rich.
What this man here, man? Look at this stupid shit with, man. He look like a chump, man. Ugly brother, man. Why she with him, man? Word, he ain't nothing but a fat sucker anyway. He come over this way, I do him in a minute. Word up, man. Hey, yo. Hey, yo, man.
One of the film's appealing qualities is its ability to see both sides, as in this scene, where the hero's father talks about his youthful ambitions.
I want to be a doctor. First obstetrician in Lamar, South Carolina.
You know, you can still be a doctor.
A scene like this one takes on tremendous power when you realize this movie was made by a young man who could easily be one of these characters himself.
What is it with you? What do you think? Money is the answer to everything, right? Just make it the fast way, solves all your problems. Just make it the fast way, right?
Yes, just make it the fast way. Come on, the faster I make it, the faster I can get the hell out of Red Hook. We talked about this, Shirley. Come on.
Oh, come on, Jennifer. We talked about when she's going to college, remember?
College. How long is it going to take me? 4 or 5 years. I don't have time for that.
That scene is the very heart of this film. The power of Straight Outta Brooklyn is in its urgency and the feeling it gives of being a report from society's front lines where basically good kids stand poised to make good or bad choices for their future. I was also impressed by the balance in Matty Rich's screenplay, the way he has of seeing more than one side of an issue, of avoiding a formula story, of showing how few options really are open to the characters in this film. Straight Outta Brooklyn ended a little abruptly for me. I didn't like it. I never like it when a film prints its message on the screen at the end for me to read. But I think this is a good, true, and honest film, and that Matty Rich is an important new voice.
Well, I had the same reaction, which is the film, it looks like he ran out of money. I mean, this picture could have gone on for another half an hour, and the reason why I would want it to go on for another half an hour is scenes like the last one we just saw, because I think that what this young man has is the ability to create dialogue and let the scenes play on. So there's a lot of talk in this picture, but they are talking about something that counts. It's important to them, and so we are eavesdropping, and it's very natural, and on that basis, I recommend the picture.
Okay, coming up next, a review of Dark Obsession, the latest film to receive the restricted NC-17 rating for its sex scenes.
You know what it's like for me to love you. Do you have any idea? Under the circumstances.
What circumstances?
How do I know? How do I know that you haven't been seeing him all the time? How do I know that?
Look, I am not having an affair with Raoul.
A British nobleman becomes unhinged when his wife goes into business with her ex-lover in Dark Obsession, a good English thriller that has aroused some special attention because it was rated NC-17. No one under 17 admitted because of its explicit sex scenes. Now, I don't think the film is that rough, but more important, I do think it's a good film, telling the story, based apparently on fact, about a wealthy young Englishman who suspects his wife of infidelity, and one night, in a drunken rage, he runs down a young woman, and the movie hints that he may have thought it was his wife.
What does she look like?
She's dead.
She isn't anybody.
The movie is very much about the moral emptiness of the English upper class as the driver's friends conspire to keep the death a secret. Gabriel Byrne plays the jealous husband who is totally enraptured with his wife, played by the exciting Amanda Donahoe.
We went on to dinner afterwards. I drank far too much.
Was Raoul there at dinner?
To begin with, he left quite early.
Outside the bedroom, Gabriel Byrne's life is falling apart. He's alienated from his work as an investment advisor, and the murder cover-up is falling apart too. Only a visit from his wife is exciting.
Just taking Hugo to lunch.
I'm sorry, that's impossible. Hugo and I have got to go over tonight's strategy.
Peter, I thought you said we were going to do that this evening.
I know, but I've had to reschedule. I really am. Sorry.
Eventually, the conspiracy of silence begins turning in on itself.
Someone's let the cat out of the bag, and it has to be one of us, doesn't it? Someone has talked, and we all swore not to.
And as I saw that scene, I felt I was watching real characters playing for important stakes. And I found Dark Obsession to be well acted, certainly credible emotionally. And as for the sex scenes, well, I wish we had more movies that treated sex as naturally as this picture, so that Dark Obsession wouldn't be so out of the ordinary. This is a good film about a society that is empty at the top.
It is a very good film, and it's a study of behavior. There's all kinds of little details, like the scene where the Lord of the Manor, Gabriel Byrne's father, I think, is sitting in his little easy chair, and they roped him off because tomorrow is the day when the guests get to pay to go through the ancestral home.
Right.
And all kinds of more sinister scenes that show that this world of wealth and privilege also includes a complete immorality. I thought it was a really good film.
Terrific. When we come back, Bright Angel, the story of a lost teenager on the road to nowhere.
Lucky me. Why don't you take me home with you?
Your mother once said something to me I've never forgot. She said, nobody dies of a broken heart.
That's Dermot Mulroney there as a young man growing up more or less on his own out west, and Sam Shepard as his father, who has a bleak and fairly narrow outlook on life. It's right at the beginning of Bright Angel, a very special new movie directed by Michael Fields. It tells the story of that character's coming of age through a friendship with a young woman who drifts aimlessly through town. In the local cafe one day, he runs into the hitchhiker, played by Lily Taylor, who you may recognize from Mystic Pizza. She seems kind of lost, but there's something attractive about her very indifference to her fate.
Where are you going on the bus?
Casper, Wyoming. Where Hardy should have been 2 days ago if I was worth anything. Which, apparently, I'm not.
They hit the road together, heading for a meeting she wants with a guy who might testify against her brother. And after Mulroney gets in a fight, they retreat to a motel.
Sometimes you can't win. You can't believe it. You can't see yourself losing. I mean, you're a winner when you think about it. And you got to get used to losing.
Tell me something I might not know.
I wish I could. I'd like that.
In Casper, they find the man who could give evidence against the brother. She wants to talk him out of it. The man is played in a wonderfully offbeat performance by Bill Pullman.
Did somebody order a pizza? Is this Girl Scouts or what now?
The special tone of this movie is in its lost quality, its aimlessness, the way these characters hardly seem to know themselves, let alone one another.
You're lost, but you think you're found. That's terrible.
Bright Angel is a movie something like Drugstore Cowboy or Days of Heaven, a movie of lost young people in a landscape that is completely indifferent to them, trying to make their way with an imperfect knowledge of the world. The performances find exactly the right note, especially Lily Taylor's work as that young woman who hardly seems to care for herself or anything else. The movie has a certain poetic truth to it, seen against the landscapes of an American West which is still frontier, but no longer seems to hold out any promise.
Well, I feel the same way. This is one of my favorite films I've seen in a long time. I like the pictures you compared it to. Again, that big landscape. You know, if you're trying to come up with an essential American film, this is the situation. Two people in a motel on the highway. I mean, this is what this country is about, I think, emblematically, and this picture has it. These are characters who, you know, when you say, keep stressing the word lost, I think people might think, well, then there's nothing that I would be interested in. But no, you can see in that scene that she knows that she's lost and feels bad about that?
And as for the young man, he starts out with no particular direction in life, and through the experiences he has in this movie, he at least arrives at adulthood. It is a coming-of-age movie, which is a great American tradition, and it's a great movie. Coming up next, an interview with Jungle Fever director Spike Lee. Does he do himself a disservice with all of his complaining about losing the top prize at the Cannes Film Festival?
Spike Lee has been in the news lately in what I think is a sadly familiar way, complaining bitterly about losing the top prize at the Cannes Film Festival, almost as if the festival jury owed him a prize.
Look, people are free to do the hell whatever they wanted to do. What free? What the hell are you talking about, free?
It's 1989, and Spike Lee takes Do the Right Thing to the Cannes Film Festival, where the movie considered the best film of the year by some critics doesn't even get a single award.
Hey!
2 years later, Lee brings his newest movie, Jungle Fever, to Cannes, where once again he fails to win one of the big prizes. But a new category is created at the festival so that one actor from the movie, Samuel L. Jackson, is honored for his supporting performance. Spike Lee came home, upset again from Cannes, and recently he talked to me about his obsession with winning the big awards at Europe's most important film festival. Do you do yourself a disservice complaining about losing at Cannes?
I don't really see it as complaining. I was just talking, to me, it's very matter of fact there. But let's be honest, this has happened to me twice. In '89 with Do the Right Thing, and now '91 with Jungle Fever. And so I see nothing wrong with expressing my views on how we think that we've been robbed both times, and we're not the only people that feel that way.
Now let's talk about the effect that this may have, the protest first, on white audiences interested in your film. Are you worried that they'll look at you, even in just the interview we're doing now, and say, he's a complainer, he thinks he's owed something, and I pigeonhole him, angry young black man, forget it.
Well, they do that anyway, so that Cannes thing has really nothing to do with that. I do not base my decisions worrying about what white people are going to think. That's not my Mona opera. I'm sorry. There are some black people that make decisions that don't worry about, what will white America think about this? How will this hurt me? It doesn't come into my way of thinking.
Now, one part of white America that you do think about is the people that control the budgets for your movies.
Exactly.
In other words,
that's something different.
That's money.
That's money.
Talk about, then, the real reason that you protest, because I can't believe the real reason is that you want Whoopi Goldberg's approval.
Alan Parker,
Vangelis, the composer.
The real reason is that all these awards, the Golden Palm and Cannes, the Academy Awards, there's money behind those awards. There's power behind these awards. More and more, when I find myself in negotiation with studios, the thing they always like to throw up in front of my face is, Spike, well, you do all right domestically, but according to our ledger right here, according to the numbers, you're not doing as well as we hope to overseas.
So deep down, what you're doing when you protest on the steps of the Grand Palais or wherever they catch you, what you're really doing is trying to help the budget on your next film.
And the budget, and also how just make sure that this stuff is not going unnoticed. I mean, I don't know who they think I am. I'm not just going to sit around, scratch my head, and, show my teeth while, we get jerked around, 2 years by the jury. So I'm going to talk about it. And if doing that, we've lost some viewers who think that Spike Lee is a crybaby or a sore loser, then we just lost him.
He doesn't back down. I guess I wish that Spike Lee spent more time talking about his movies, films full of love and humor and also sadness.
Well, being a good loser is an American tradition, and maybe Spike has just gotten the European disease, because a couple of years ago, a French director gave the audience an obscene sign from the stage, and this year, Spike wasn't even the angriest director. One of the Polish directors called Roman Polanski, who was the head of the jury, a shrimp, and then gave him his award back because he didn't get the one he wanted. So Spike strikes right in the great can tradition, I think.
Yeah, but the problem is that a lot of the press back here focuses on him more than these other people.
Well, coming up next, we're going to have another look at the movies we reviewed this week. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed on this program. 2 thumbs down for the murky, violent, and disappointing Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which misses the magic of the great legend. 2 thumbs up, though, for Straight Outta Brooklyn, Matty Rich's report from the front lines of American poverty. 2 more thumbs up for Nick Broomfield's Dark Obsession. And we were both very enthusiastic about Bright Angel by Michael Fields, a visionary road movie about 2 young people adrift in the West. And that is a real discovery if people can find Bright Angel in their local
That's
theater.
the one that I recommend, too. That's it for this week. Next time, we'll be back with reviews of Julia Roberts' latest film, Dying Young, and also The Rocketeer, a gung-ho adventure featuring a crime fighter with a rocket pack on his back. That's next week. And until then, the balcony is closed.
Louisiane is specially blended for iced tea. That's why people who like iced tea love Louisiane. Available in regular or decaf. Shout now, wash later. Shout sticks it to stains and keeps them from setting till wash day. Tough stains don't stand a chance when you shout them out with Shout Stick. Did you know that Wesson Light cooking spray has less than 1 calorie per serving? Wesson Light, less than 1 calorie. Paul Mitchell Professional Salon Products. Luxurious hair care and styling tools. Never tested on animals. Paul Mitchell, your style demands it.